He is a person that there is no such thing as can't. He makes sure that things are done and done correctly, and he doesn't want to hear you can't do it, just how can we do it?
3 words. Dedicated.
Selfless.
Loving.
Caring.
Loyal.
Reliable and a friend.
Funny.
Thorough.
And generous.
Passionate.
And what's the word that I want to use for? He always accomplishes what he sets out to do.
He does, yes. Persistent.
David inspires me with his commitment to the community of Brockton.
Everything he does inspires me.
He is so caring and loving and giving by constantly being the better human being, always being the better human being.
You know, he inspires me to do better and give back every day.
He never hesitated to do positive things to help the community. He's just selfless. He gives himself, and still today he gives himself so much. And how much we really appreciate everything he's done.
He lets me know every day that he cares, and that kind of works back on me so that hopefully I can let someone else that I run into that day with a smile or a thank you or something like that, let them know that I care too. He's just a wonderful man.
David has served as a school board member. He has served as mayor of the village, trustee, but his extensive contribution has been through that of coaching early on in his sons' lives, but working with the fire department as an EMS, we can always guarantee that Dave will be on the call.
One of the reasons I joined the department was because of him. And just to see him and others in action, it's amazing how he takes control and keeps people calm.
They had almost 400 calls 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and he made 390 of them. It's amazing the number of calls he goes for EMT.
There's a never-ending list. He cares for his community, he cares for the people of the community.
Past school board member, soon to be back on the school board.
He really does it all. For a man who presents himself quietly, because he really can be very quiet, he's the head of all these things and making them all work. And that says a lot for that type of personality.
One of David's most significant accomplishments was serving as a board member for the school district during times of mergers and consolidation discussions.
Keeping our community safe. I mean, I think that is probably his biggest accomplishment, and how active he still is today.
He was very instrumental in getting a multi-million-dollar water project through the village. We have a subdivision called Haywood Heights. He's very instrumental in getting that, new homes in there and new lots ready.
Being a role model, the role model for the whole community.
No, I think his most significant accomplishment is raising 3 amazing boys. They are hardworking, intelligent, caring young men, and I think they got that from David. His family. He's a very loving father.
To our youth organizations, he's always been supportive of the midget league football, the baseball teams, those type of things.
Well, definitely in the community, I think just his participation in the fire department with the EMS. There were times when he would try to pull back, but you can see it in his face when that fire whistle blows and blows and blows and no one's answering the calls, you know. And I look at him and I say, what if it were me that needed help? Wouldn't you be there? And he said, well, absolutely. And I said, well then, you know.
I think that people that didn't know him when he had children that were coming up through the school today would probably not know that he was an outstanding coach, not only for Little League and baseball, but also that of football and his commitment towards that coaching aspect.
Just how much he truly cares about our community. I think it's evident through his work, but I don't know if people truly understand or appreciate just how much he believes in the Brockton-Portland community and in all the residents there.
David really sings well in an elevator. And only David will know what I'm talking about. But he does a great job, doesn't he?
He was a cook in the Army. He was a good enough cook that once he got out of his AIT, his Advanced Individual Training, and became a cook, they kept him there and he ended up being the mess sergeant. So I guess you got to say he was a pretty good cook. He still is a good cook.
I think they would be pleasantly surprised to learn that he is wacky. He's got an amazing sense of humor. He can be serious on one side, but completely silly on the other side. He loves word puzzles, those kinds of things, and he does those with my granddaughter. He gets her goat a lot because he comes up with jokes that to most people make no sense at all. And really, he'll hate me for saying this, but really aren't that funny a lot of times. But he just, you know, she's the light of his life, and they have a wonderful time together, and I think people would be surprised to know the depth of his love for her. There's no bounds to that love.
He's been an outstanding mentor for many people, and I'm excited to have him back on, the school board for the fact of, as we have difficult discussions, or really around what's best for kids and working with other school districts, I think David's going to help keep our focus on what matters the most.
He puts people first, always. Everything he does is for the community, village government, the fire department, just whatever he does, he puts 110% in all the time.
He's always there, always going, doesn't matter. Never even thinks about not going. Those are the things I think with him that makes him special. He doesn't think about it. It's just something I have to do. Other people should take just little pieces of that and put it in their own lives, and it would probably make a big difference in everyone's life.
He also started a cleanup fund where he turned over his mayoral salary to start a fund where people could get money to help paint their homes or clean up their yards or whatever.
And he never hesitates to go out of his way to help somebody.
Big shoes to fill. In one aspect, it's rather scary to know that David fills so many big shoes and has been a go-to person, and to find somebody to fill his shoes someday with all those experiences is going to be difficult.
Big shoes to fill.
Unfillable. True story. I don't know anyone who has. Do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Tough shoes to fill. I've never met anybody like him. He's amazing.
He'll say none. I will say that of a caring man who is full of generosity and concern and love for his family and his community and his friends.
If you care enough about the community, you give the time to it, he leaves the feeling for the people that, yes, they can accomplish this. Yes, you can do things to make a difference.
Knowing David and having been good friends with his son that he lost, for that man to continue to strive and give back to his community has been very special.
I really have never known anyone who loved their community and the community members as much as he does. But I think it's great. Great to have that much humanity inside of you that you share it with everybody else.
The one thing that I regret is I wish I nominated him sooner, because over all these years, he's always been there for everybody, and it's that I could think of nobody that was more deserving in our community than David for this award.